Welcome to TheRichaadoShow.
And so, my journey across the video gaming universe has brought me to today's video. Join me as I take another detailed look into yet another classic video game. Bwah!
Why, hello there! My name is Richard, and indeed, welcome to The Richaado Show. Oh, well, it seems that summer has finally graced the Great British Isles, as evidenced by there being a massive ball of fire and heat in the sky beaming down on our shores. My wearing of garish Hawaiian shorts. You're welcome for this image, by the way. And yes, my facial hair is almost completely gone. Yeah. I look like a bloody 13-year-old. But you know, even though the weather's really nice outside, the last few days I've had haven't been too great, and it's got me a little bit down in the dumps. But, do you know what? That's why I'm glad that video games exist.
Playing video games acts as my release and escape from the outside world. If I'm feeling sad, I play an uplifting game to raise my spirits. If I'm incandescent with rage, I let it all out while filling hordes of virtual baddies with bullet holes. Video games are actually really helpful and empowering things for giving you a smile when your mood is less than desirable. And for me, not much else out there can top those games with a super badass lead character. Those sorts of characters that, upon hearing their name, make you think of them standing tall and proud atop a high building, or walking away stern-faced as a raging fireball burns directly behind them. Oh yeah!
So that's what I'm in the mood for, and there's loads of games I can choose from. Do I want to heroically cling on to the back of a cargo plane like Nathan Drake? Do I want to stupendously take down hordes of locust scourge as Marcus Phoenix? Or do I want to magnificently slaughter alien invaders like a gun-toting black ketchup? In fact, not that one, because it's not good. I mean, it's got to be something else if I think outside the box just a little bit. Hang on a second. Yes! I think I've got an idea. Follow me, my pretties. Right, let's have a looky, shall we? Okay, where is it? 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 Hang on. Hang on, it should be there. Why is it not there? Where the bloody blazes has it gone?
You're too slow!
What?
You're too slow!
What? Oh, ha ha ha. Ha, you're a funny little man, aren't you? Now give me that, you know! So, yeah. Action Man!
Now all of you British viewers will most likely know about Action Man, but did you know that he is merely a licensed copy of America's G.I. Joe doll? Now I remember owning a couple of Action Mans. Action Men? Ugh. Anyway, I had them when I was younger. And we all know the drill with dolls such as these. The good guy, international espionage secret agent and combat extraordinaire, ergo Action Man. The bad guy, evil, maniacal crime monger, possibly with some sort of defect like a cyborg limb, ergo Dr. X. And the battles between these two were tense and gripping. In my 7-year-old mind, that is. When played out in my bedroom, however...
I will not let you get away with your fiendish plan. Mwahaha, why don't you try and stop me? You will never win, evil will never triumph. Bang! Bang! I'll fight you to my last breath.
Awkward segue, and here we are at Action Man Mission Xtreme, released in Europe in June 2000. It also went over to North America in November 2000 under a slightly modified name, and as far as I'm aware, this is the only console-based Action Man game. There were also a few Nintendo handheld games, but other than that, I can't find out any more stuff, especially since there's more white space than text when I look at the Wikipedia page for this particular PS1 game.
So I'm going to keep an open mind here, because without any existing review scores to look at, I haven't got the faintest bloody clue what to expect with this. But without actually playing the game, we'll never know if it's treasure or trash worthy, shall we? So, in the words of a very famous man, let's play this game. I don't know. I mean, he might have said it, but just cut to the game already.
Here's our intro scene, and this guy is obviously liking his karate ninja practice and being all fast and furious in his fancy vehicle. You know, I like to think he's training up for a big fight or something like in the Rocky movies. In fact, you could probably put some of that music on it and it would work just as well, maybe a little bit better. My one nitpick here is how this all looks. God damn, it looks awful! This is the year 2000, guys! I mean, do I have to go back to this whole thing about graphics and quality of games before this? We should be advancing forwards, but instead here we just shot ourselves in the foot, taking one massive backward tumble down the stairs and into a bed of freaking nails. Just look at Action Man. His modelling, his textures, his stern, unmoving face! It's enough to make young children sick. When this game comes at you from Blitz Games, who now has a huge library of family licensed games under their belts, you can't help but be a little nervous about this game's prospects. Oh cool, looks like the main menu set in Action Man's supposedly secret headquarters, in a large flat, at the top of a tall building, with his insignia plastered all over the damn room. Just go with it, I guess. Let's take a look around and access some of the game's extras and options, including a PowerPoint collection tally, a sound menu in the guise of a flipping DJ set, and various model viewers for the game's weapons, vehicles, and enemy assets. And okay, I will admit, this is rather cool. 8 out of 10, would bang. Ooh, next level James Bond happening right here. What's this? Enter a code and run a program, eh? Is Asswipe a program? I guess not.
All of that aside, we've got a game to play, so let's go do it. To the sound of shwaddy.
So Action Man is first called up to stop a bunch of goons stealing equipment in his home city of... this place really needs a Namesville. He traces this back to a mysterious desert base inhabited by the maniacal scientist Professor Gangrene. Ugh. He infiltrates the base and stumbles across a massive horticulture operation with mutant plants being harvested to produce a sleeping toxin. He puts the operation there and returns to the city to disrupt the toxin delivery. He then infiltrates a secluded island base where he uncovers a robot manufacturing plant creating deadly skullbots and meets his arch nemesis Dr. X once again, where the dastardly plan is revealed. Fire toxin-filled missiles across the world, send everyone to sleep, release skullbot army to terrorize and fraternize. Just basically do bad stuff. But our hero once again thwarts the evil scheme by destroying the missile ship. After recovering the device showing the location of Dr. X's Arctic base, he drops in to stop the Skullbot already terrorizing the world, finalizing with a tense duel with Dr. X himself to well and truly save the world. Exciting stuff. So let's play on and live out this story. I like a good story. So this game offers up two distinctly different playing styles that rotate depending on which mission you do. The first mission involves you patrolling the city streets and stopping minions in vehicles damaging the city and stealing lab equipment. In case you can't read, you have the mission brief read to you by a woman who apparently couldn't care less about this urgent and dangerous situation.
Action Man.
Jeez. Don't strain yourself, love. And before we set off and face the open road, can I just point out this building has a massive freaking Action Man logo on it? I mean, what kind of a secret agent has a huge-ass logo on the roof of their base? What sort of bloody nonsensical shit? So out we go into the vehicle combat side of the game. You have yourself a top-down perspective of the game world like the older Grand Theft Auto games used to do, or in Retro City Rampage. Accelerate with the X button and steer with the left and right keys, or use the analog stick to move and steer with the same control. Well, when I say control, I should have said lack thereof. The slide and steering physics are so tight that one tap of the button equals instant turn, and your speed is ridiculous going down these narrow streets and it becomes a handful to manage. Well, granted you get to control different vehicles with varying speeds and levels of grip, but actually they're not much better. And apparently you can turn on a dime in a car. 'Cause that's logic. Every vehicle you drive has a machine gun and incendiaries as standard, and you use them to destroy enemy vehicles. The game provides a mini-map to show where your enemies are, and a guidance arrow to show which direction your next objective is. This particular map is designed with narrow alleys, large car park arenas, and some jump ramps if you're driving fast enough. Each map has a bunch of PowerPoints dotted around, and you'll need a certain number to progress through the mission. You're also provided with repair kits if you get too beat up out there. Progress far enough and you'll be called out by the head goon, and will need to defeat them. Hey, does this mean boss battles? Well, that's a first for this particular show. So what do these epic encounters entail? Hold the fire button and dodge their attacks. Nothing to write home about really. They're spiced up a little by having extra things you'll need to overcome to deal damage, such as finding weak spots or keeping them away from healing pink slime. Okay. Other than that, pretty boring spectacles. The same can be said for the level design here. standard cityscapes and streets for the first two vehicles, and a bleak and uninteresting Arctic lake for the third one. The textures don't help anything either, and the music can get a bit grating if it's on for too long. Give them credit for keeping to the themes of the game, so you'll hear high strings and technical percussion tracks, but again, nothing to write home about. The following vehicle missions have you patrolling the skies in flying machines, though you'll have to go forward to gain altitude and fly over certain buildings. I don't know why they'd want to put that in.
Keep it all at a constant altitude, and then just make it clear which buildings you can or can't fly over. I mean, what was so difficult in that?
The final vehicle segment has hovercrafts and deep-sea divers that are so unbelievably hard to get under control since they slide all over the place.
So overall, I'm going to say that the vehicle segments have some bits that definitely need some improving. So let's move on to the other playing style this game offers, and let's see if that can salvage this game from the depths of suckiness.
So here we are about to start the action segments of the game. These sections play out like typical third-person action levels, and offer shooting, combat, super sleuthing, investigating, tactical, espionage, gadgetry, hidden collectible, collecting stuff, where you're in control of Action Man as he infiltrates various secret bases and uncovers the heinous plot of the bad guys. These missions require the player to progress with various different methods, the main of which is by collecting useful items and collectibles to unlock gates, disrupt electrical equipment, and other things. Important gadgets in your inventory include an electronics kit used to debug electrical machinery and hack into computer systems. You also get to use remote explosives to destroy whole sections of the base so the baddies can't carry on their evil plans. Key collectibles may include code keys and path badges to open some doors, useful devices like metal detectors and infrared goggles, and the power points also make a return, where they have the added bonus of replenishing a tiny amount of Action Man's health. On the combat side of the action stages, you can engage various humanoid and mechanical henchmen in hand-to-hand combat, or with various weapons ranging from handguns to long-distance crossbows to a host of weird and wonderful weapons. You're also given the aid of a full 3D map by using the select button that shows your position and the position of your objectives, a mini-map showing enemies and objectives, and you can also get an eye-level scope of the area with the R2 button. The camera in these segments will auto-adjust periodically to try and give you the best view of the ground you're walking on, but it isn't always fail-safe and you cannot move the camera yourself in any way. But no matter which angle you look at it, the textures and graphics are just indescribably bad. You can see the sheer scale of how awful they are by taking a closer look and seeing the massive pixels in the textures. The character mugshots aren't much better, and Action Man's face makes him look like a bad Pierce Brosnan lookalike, who's just had a massive load of collagen injected into his face and it's aged him by about 20 odd years. It's not a good look. And then get off my screen! Kill it! Kill it with fire! So interspersed within these action stages are a bunch of boss battles where you're provided automatically with the tools to defeat them, such as high-powered torches for killing large mutant toxin-spewing plants, railguns to take out Harrier jump jets, and energy rifles to power through even the toughest exoskeletal armors your arch nemesis can throw at you. Some provide an additional gimmick that you need to use to well and truly defeat the bosses, like filling the arena with water, or using detonators on a weakened spider tank. Other than that, it's just a case of dodging the attacks and mashing the shoot button. Very basic boss battle mechanics here. Solid enough, but there's not much of the wow factor with these fights.
I mean, it's not to say that I'm completely against the game being this simple, because in the end it's Blitz games we're talking about. And this franchise in particular is obviously geared towards the young, masculine child crowd who have it in their heads that they can be secret agents. Plus, if you are a little bit older, you can always just up the difficulty. Christ almighty, this sun is bright.
But to me it sort of feels like this bare minimum effort and simplicity has been applied across the board on every aspect of the game. The heavily pixelated textures and graphics, the highly simplistic models, the overall unimpressive music soundtrack, and the blatantly obvious use of those stock royalty-free sound effects that you hear everywhere else. And I have to say, some bad and lackluster level design in some places. Ladies and gentlemen, I am now a part of this bridge. And then you get to the writing and characters' voice acting. Again, not the best ever. Oh, wow. Geez, that's some real insight. The story gets too predictable, and they've made some characters pretty unbearable to listen to.
Wow, Action Man! Great to see you. It'd be so cool to meet you in person.
Plus, there's some aspects of the game that downright confuse me and make me question what levels of high intensity drug they were taking at the time they made that decision. For instance, take the health meter. It does this weird thing where the health gradually declines when you take damage, but it's not a constant decline. Instead, it starts rapidly and gradually slows down. And that's really confusing if you suffer a large amount of health loss from an explosion, for example. Because if you end up losing all your health, the meter doesn't really keep up with it, so you'll see some health as the screen goes to black, which will make you call bullshit. But overall, I have to say that these action segments are a significant improvement compared to the vehicle segments. Driving about and shooting stuff is a very bland playing style, and it's not implemented in enough detail for me. On the other hand, the action missions have so many more mechanics that you can utilize, and you'll find yourself doing lots more varied stuff to progress, which may include visiting rooms you've already been to and accessing parts of the level that you couldn't before. These segments are still nowhere near perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and some parts get really annoying and ridiculous to try and negotiate.
Security camera overhead.
But finally the campaign is finished and we eventually thwart Dr. X's nefarious plans and lock him away.
Yes.
So I guess you'll be able to complete the story in little over 3 to 5 hours, plus a few more if you want to completely ransack the game and get all 190 of the PowerPoint tokens. But really I don't know anyone who'd actually want to do that, since the reward for doing so is basically little to none. So to wrap this video up, is Mission Xtreme a worthy purchase? Well, it's a difficult one for me personally, but if I'm being subjective here, this really isn't that great a game.
Well, give Action Man credit where it's due for trying pretty well to make an appealing family game with faint whiffs of classic Grand Theft Auto, Metal Gear Solid and GoldenEye 64 in its gameplay, but the experience as a whole is pretty mismatched. Some parts are good and engaging, others are grating and annoying. The imbalance ruins the experience somewhat, and the rest of the game's elements seem like half-arsed or bare minimum efforts. Things like the graphics, modelling and texturing, the soundtrack and effects, the voice acting and story writing are all in need of improving or drastically changing. You'll enjoy the action segments a lot more than the vehicle driving, but unless you're seriously the completionist sort of gamer, you'll find little reason to go back into the game after the story's over and done with. The lack of replay value or rewards is also a big turn-off.
Now for this reason I feel like I should reward this game more points than I am going to. Well, in the end it's the job of a reviewer to be subjective and not let personal preferences get in the way. And as a whole, this game isn't really that impressive. So my final score is 2 PowerPoint tokens out of 5, and if I'm being really critical about this game, this is for the trash list. However, this was a difficult decision for me, and some of you might have enjoyed this game and might have given it higher than I have, which is completely understandable. So I'll leave it up to you if you want to pick this game up, and please, let me know down there in the comment section if you thought this game was good or not. So I reckon that'll do it for this video. All I can say now is, stay you, and stay awesome, and if you'll excuse me, the world is in need of a hero. And I, Agent Richard Rockets, will answer the call. Ow!
Hey, thanks for watching you lovely people. Be sure to give a like and a favourite if you liked the video, and if you really liked it and you want more, consider subscribing to The Richaado Show so you can be among the first to see new content when it's ready. Thanks again, and I shall see you guys later on.